The experience of ghosts, specters, poltergeists, apparitions, and spirits has haunted human existence since time immemorial. We can find references to these beings, if we can call them that, throughout the world. The ancient Greeks referred to them as shades, who maintained more or less the form of the living being who died, who then went to the underworld to exist in that form, but never find true rest. In at least one case, a living human being went into the underworld to retrieve his lost love, was able to convince the ruler of the underworld to allow her to return to life on the condition that he not look back as long as he was not fully back into the world of the living. Of course, he could not fulfill the condition and lost his love permanently to death. In the Odyssey, Odysseus is instructed to visit the underworld to gain advice about how to get back to his home and family after his long journey. While there, he met with and spoke with the shades of great heroes of the Trojan War who had been his comrades in arms, as well as that of his mother. In the Aeneid, the hero Aeneas was also advised to visit the underworld and then return with the information he needed. Ghosts play a central role in the plays of William Shakespeare. For instance, in Julius Caesar, Brutus is confronted by the ghost of Caesar before the great battle that would determine his final destiny. In Hamlet, the prince is spurred to action by the ghost of his dead father seeking revenge for his untimely murder and the suborning of his wife, Prince Hamlet's mother, to the usurper. In Richard III, the ghosts of all the people he had murdered in order to gain the throne came and destroyed his peace of mind ahead of the great battle for the throne. In Macbeth, the ghost of murdered Banquo drives Macbeth to betray his own guilt. Shakespeare, while describing the action of ghosts in many plays, also referenced sprites, fairies, and other beings of the unseen worlds that interact with human life, such as in A Midsummer Night's Dream. In Goethe's Faust, the protagonist conjures the appearance of the earth spirit, has constant interaction with Mephistopheles, and meets a wide variety of various spirits and beings during his experience of Walpurgisnacht. In the traditions of South Asia, there are several types of ghosts or apparitions described. There is the Bhuta, generally a deceased human being with unfinished business that keeps him tied to the world with his vital sheath, as well as the Preta, generally translated as hungry ghost, beings that maintain certain desires from their lives that remain in a vital or subtle physical formation for some time after death. Chinese tradition also refers to several types of ghosts, generally spirits that have not been able to transition away from the world and who still have unfinished business here, including possible revenge for having been wronged in their lifetimes. Ghosts populate modern culture both with various forms of scientific research to find and identify these spirits, and in a widespread, although highly fantasized, popular belief in ghosts that have created an entire genre of motion pictures in the West, including famous films such as Ghost and Ghostbusters. The theme of these movies follows the popular belief that certain individuals, through seances, the use of Ouija boards, or through accession through psychic mediums, are able to communicate with the dead and bring forth information and even concrete experiences that are experienced by their loved ones. The idea that loved ones who have departed can communicate from beyond the grave is fixed firmly in the modern psyche, even while people profess to not believe in ghosts. There is an entire industry of psychics, spiritualists, and mediums who earn their living by creating apparent links to the departed. While much of this has been debunked as fake, taking advantage of the gullibility of people who want to believe. The experience of ghosts goes far beyond the modern attempts to turn ghosts into a profit center for the living. The Tibetan Book of the Dead makes reference to a process after death that systematically has the individual formation leave behind the physical body, then enter a realm of vital or astral existence, and then have it move on in a process that takes as long as 49 days to complete. During this time, the teaching of the Bardo is intended to help the disembodied being depart and find its new birth, leaving behind all the life, beings, and circumstances of the prior life. Family members are requested to refrain from trying to hold the spirit to this existence so that it can move on. The Taittiriya Upanishad describes a series of ever subtler sheaths to which the spirit ascends when it departs from the physical sheath, including the vital sheath, the mental sheath, the knowledge sheath, and the bliss sheath. Each of these represents a formation that may exist for shorter or longer periods after the departure from the physical body. It is through contact with forms that have retained some amount of coherence in the subtle physical, vital, or mental sheaths that the phenomenon of ghosts has been described. Sri Aurobindo writes, quote, "The psychic does not give up the mental and other sheaths apart from the physical immediately at death. It is said that it takes 3 years on the whole to get clear away from the zone of communicability with the earth, though there may be cases of slower or quicker passage. The psychic world does not communicate with earth, at any rate not in that way, and the ghost or spirit who turns up at seances is not the psychic being. What comes through the medium is a mixture of the medium's subconscient, using subconscient in the ordinary, not in the yogic sense, and that of the sitters, vital sheaths left by the departed or perhaps occupied or used by some spirit or some vital being, the departed himself in his vital sheath, or else something assumed for the occasion. But it is the vital part that communicates. Elementals, spirits of the lowest vital physical world near earth, etc., etc. A horrible confusion for the most part, a hodgepodge of all sorts of things coming through a medium of astral gray light and shadow. Many communicants seem to be people who have just gone across into a subtle world where they feel surrounded by an improved edition of the earthly life and think that that is the real and definitive other world after earth. But it is more optimistic prolongation of the ideas and images and associations of the human plane. Hence, the next world is depicted by spiritualist guides and other seance communicants." End quote. Reference: Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, The Psychic Being, Soul, Its Nature, Mission, and Evolution, Section 4, The Afterlife and Rebirth, pages 130 to 131.